Hello everyone, my name is Cherie, and today I want to talk about the dead end script. Now this is a script that you had a passion to write. You were so excited about the idea. You just had to get it out immediately without thinking about the story or anything. And you just were writing and writing, and then all of a sudden you stop because you don't know where it's going. So I want to share my experiences with you on that. So hopefully you can gain some insight and not encounter any more of your own dead-end scripts. So the first dead-end script I wrote was called Mark and Monique. And this is something that I wrote around the same time that I wrote my very first feature, Dreamers Cafe. It was another idea based upon just kind of an idea I had, like, what if I just left work and didn't come back and just, enjoyed my life? So I had these two characters working at a computer firm together, doing the usual 9-to-5 grind and not being very, enthusiastic about their lives. So one Friday payday, they went out to cash their checks, because back in the old days, direct deposit wasn't a thing. And they decided not to come back to work. They just left. They left together and they went out and they had all these adventures and they had all this fun and they blew all their money. And then I didn't know what to do with the script. So I thought, it was a good premise, but, I didn't know what I was trying to say. I hadn't figured out where I wanted the story to go. So yeah, it just ended and I never came back to it. The second dead-end script I wrote, and these were all features, by the way, was called Cyril and Celeste. And it was kind of like a gothic romance mystery. I remember at the time, The Bride with Jennifer Beals had come out, and so I think I was going for that kind of thing, or like a Jane Eyre, Rebecca, gothic kind of thing. And also at the same time, A View to a Kill had just come out, and I fell in love with Christopher Walken. Oh, I became so obsessed with him. So I wanted to write this story that he and I could act in together, and he would play the father and I would play the daughter, and there was going to be all this mystery and intrigue. And in that one I got around page 60, and then, which is Midway, again, hit a brick wall. Didn't know where I was going, didn't know what I was trying to say. I did have the ending, so basically the daughter has grown up in this like castle-like environment, sealed off from the world, and she wants to go out and explore. And so, break into Act 2 and she's exploring the real world and he's mourning the loss of her. And then at the end, Act 3, she comes back. That was kind of just like my basic ideas. But again, it wasn't really working. Now I have thought of an interesting take on it, a way to solve some of the problems, and that deals with the fact that the Christopher Walken character, the mad scientist, reclusive scientist character, had actually gone crazy when his wife died during childbirth, but actually the child died too. And he was doing genetic experiments on the side, illegal experiments, and he actually cloned his wife. And then he raised the clone as his child. So that gets into a whole bunch of interesting things where, as she grows up, he's seeing, his wife. And then as the daughter is growing up, she's like having these feelings for her dad, and it's all weird. And so she leaves, and then it's revealed that, she's a clone, and then she comes back. And that could be a weird, interesting story. I don't know if I'm going to write it, but that was just one of the ideas I had for how I could fix it. And then what was the The last one was, I got a little further in this one. It was actually workshopped during the Tennessee Screenwriting Association years. It's called The Golden Egg. And my idea with it was to do very few characters, do kind of like just a single location. I wanted a female protagonist. I want it to be kind of a action thriller kind of thing. Basically, Die Hard with a female protagonist, and instead of Die Hard in, a skyscraper, it was Die Hard in a museum. So basically, this woman goes over to Russia, doesn't speak any Russian, is there to see the golden egg, a new discovery of a Fabergé egg from the Romanov era. And, And while she's there, she inadvertently gets locked in the museum, only to witness some thieves coming in to steal the Fabergé egg. So then she spends the bulk of the time evading them, running from them, and hiding. And then finally, at the end, she has to fight them. And at the end, when the museum opens back up in the morning, she is helped to capture the criminals. So it had a beginning, middle, end, and it could have been pretty interesting. And another thing I really wanted to do with this was to make something that was almost like a silent movie. Basically, it could be shown in any country in the world and people would understand it. And so I thought, well, a woman going to a place where she doesn't speak the language and they don't speak hers, that would kind of take care of that. But here's the thing. This is why I think I wrote it as much as I could, so it got over 60 pages, and it might have even had kind of like the ending there, but it wasn't fleshed out enough, and this is the main problem. I did not care about my main character, and I don't know what her arc was, and I don't know really what I was trying to say. I know what I was trying to do, make a movie that would appeal to a wide audience, but it was not executed well, and you really have to have all those things. You have to have, characters want and the characters need and the arc, and you have to care about the story, because if you're writing something that's going to be 90 to 120 pages, it's a lot of work, and you got to care. So as I progressed as a writer, I also, was able to include more and more of all the details that are needed for a script. So I honestly think, Mark and Monique, no. I don't care about it. I don't want to try to fix it. If anyone out there wants to take the idea and run with it, feel free. Cyril and Celeste could be some weird gothic romance. Could have that fix that I was talking about. It could have something else. Who knows? It's a possibility, but it's not really on my radar right now either. I've got a ton of scripts and log lines that I can write about right now that I care about. And then the golden egg, that could be saved, could be resurrected, but I really need to work on the protagonist. And again, I have other scripts that are more important to me right now that I'm going to be writing, but who knows? I might go back to the golden egg at some point. Here's something a lot of people do. They get all excited because they say, I've got this great idea for a story, or my life is so interesting, it would make a great movie. And so people they just think that they can write a script. And that is so far from the truth. Script writing done well is very difficult, and it takes many years to hone the craft. I have been writing screenplays for decades now, and I'm still learning. I'm still honing my craft. I have to say, even though it's a lot of work, for me, I find it very pleasurable. I love writing screenplays. So I'm going to end it there. You know, just know what you're trying to say. Have all your information before you start writing the script. It will help you so much, and then you won't have these dead-end scripts. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.